I'll admit it, watching the offensive line lose pieces in August gets to me, because every New England fan knows how a promising season can start slipping away through protection problems. But the Patriots' response gave me something I needed to see: urgency, competition, and young players answering when the script got ugly. Patriots Nation, listen closely. Today, every update grows out of the one before it and shows how Mike Vrabel is trying to keep one problem from becoming an avalanche. Subscribe to Patriots Club fans, because we're following this fight all the way to final cuts. The first hit landed at a spot where this roster already had no margin left to burn. Ben Brown left the preseason game against Indianapolis with an injury. Andrew Rupsick suffered an MCL injury and went on injured reserve, and Caden Wallace had already been traded. The interior offensive line went from having quiet depth to carrying a real concern Mike Vrabel had to face head-on. That is what pushed James Hudson into work at right guard. Hudson is a tackle, but necessity forced the coaching staff to search outside the original boxes. And there is another possibility that could reshape the plan even more: Caleb Lomu, the first-round rookie who played left tackle in college before moving to the right side in New England, could also get a look inside. Vrabel has not closed that door. Lomu is only 21, he is working with the second unit, and he is still absorbing the speed, technique, and demands of the NFL. We have seen strong flashes in camp, especially in pass protection, but we also saw some uneven stretches against the Colts. Moving him now could help the group right away while interrupting some of the progress he has been making at tackle. I respect Lomu's attitude and his willingness to do whatever it takes to get on the field, but I'm going to defend the kid too. Versatility cannot become an excuse to dump every problem created by these injuries onto him. A first-round investment should become a dependable player for years, not just an August patch. If the Patriots try Lomu at guard, it should be because the coaches see a real fit, not because every other option disappeared. For now, Marcus Bryant, Maye Butler, Jacob Rizy, Hudson, and Lomu have lined up from left to right with the second unit. Rizy and Hudson won their one-on-one reps during Monday's padded practice, but the rest of the group left questions. Vrabel said he wants to evaluate the young players in competitive settings while continuing to watch the market. The crisis raised a question about Lomu. Hours later, part of the answer began arriving from outside the building. That was the moment this concern finally got a little room to breathe. But Patriots Nation, this is where things get really interesting. According to ESPN's Jeremy Fowler, New England agreed to a one-year deal with Greg Van Roten. The 36-year-old veteran had worked out for the team on August 6th and left without a contract. Less than 2 weeks later, the circumstances changed, the opening became obvious, and the Patriots returned to a player who offered exactly what the group had lost: immediate experience inside. This is not somebody who spent the past few seasons waiting around for an emergency. Van Roten started all 17 games in each of the last 3 seasons. He played right guard for the Raiders in 2023, then started 34 straight games over 2 seasons with the Giants. He has appeared in 144 regular season games, started 105 of them, and missed only 1 game over the last 5 years. When 2 depth options go down almost together, availability stops being a line on a resume. It becomes an asset. There is functional quality here too. Last season, Pro Football Focus gave him a 70.2 pass blocking grade, 22nd among qualified guards, while his overall grade ranked 35th out of 81 players at the position. His history also includes snaps at center, including more than 130 combined for the Giants in 2024 and the Bills in 2022. That gives Vrabel coverage for multiple situations behind Alijah Vera-Tucker, Mike Owenu, and Jared Wilson. Keep the expectations in the right place. This signing does not have to become an automatic threat to the starters to matter. Van Roten is here to prevent one regular season injury from forcing the offense to throw an unprepared player at a defense that can identify weakness in seconds. Darian Dalcourt and Joe Mikowski, signed before him, have not played a regular season NFL game. Jacob Rizy and Maye Butler handled the emergency against Indianapolis, but experience cannot be handed out by decree. What excites me about this move is not the name, it is the message. New England evaluated the young lineman, felt the size of the risk, and acted before the situation pushed Lomu into a rushed position change. The veteran does not erase the injuries, but he gives the staff choices again, and when a roster gets its choices back, a young player can develop at the right pace. That same principle is creating room on the other side of the ball, where a second-year defender looks ready to become more than a good story. Elijah Ponder knows what it means to enter through the narrowest door. One of his fumble recoveries helped set up the only touchdown in the AFC Championship game. That alone would be a meaningful foundation for any undrafted rookie. Now, with Harold Landry on the PUP list and second-round rookie Jesus still finding his footing, Ponder has been getting starter-level reps opposite Draymond Jones. Circumstances opened the opportunity, but the player is earning every rep he gets. The most interesting part of his jump does not begin with strength or speed. It begins upstairs. Ponder said returning for year 2 with the same system, the same coaches, and relationships already in place allows him to play with far more comfort. He knows the playbook better, can lock in on the small details, and feels growth against the run while chasing the quarterback and when reading plays. Vrabel sees the same change. According to the coach, Ponder has a better understanding of formations, his keys, and what each situation demands without looking overly stressed or panicked. For an edge defender, that calm is gold. The split second spent thinking is exactly the opening an offensive tackle uses to take control of the matchup. When knowledge frees the body, the pass rush gets there faster, and the defense gains a piece that can stay on the field in different situations. That is why I do not see Ponder as somebody simply benefiting from another player's absence. He made the most of year 1, handled the thankless work on special teams, and produced when the defense needed him. Now he is showing the kind of confidence built through repetition, study, and real proof. The Patriots need those internal leaps because no rebuild survives on outside additions alone. Van Roten represents experience brought in to contain a problem. Ponder represents development that could prevent the next one. And there is a rookie trying to accelerate that same process at an even more delicate position. He was thrown into a game ahead of schedule, handled 55 straight snaps, and walked off the field without looking like the moment was too big for him. The offensive line story comes back around, this time through the eyes of a player whose first opportunity arrived wrapped in chaos. When Ben Brown went down against Indianapolis, Jacob Rizy had no time to calculate the weight of the responsibility. The third-string center entered the game and stayed there for 55 consecutive snaps through the end of the 13-13 tie, working first with Tommy DeVito and then with Baron Morton. Rizy spent 6 years in college football between Harvard and Florida State, made 27 total starts, and played at multiple spots across the line. Since arriving in New England, he is focused on center and entered the game behind Jared Wilson and Brown. Brown's injury pushed him into the spot where one snap can put him in charge of the protection. What pulled me in was how human his reaction felt. Rizy's first thought was Brown, and all the work his teammate had put in. Then, once he realized he had to enter the game, he simply went out and played football. No heroic speech. He acknowledged that the NFL moves faster than anything he experienced in high school or college. He said he is trying to find his way and improve 1% every day. Vrabel liked what he saw. He said Rizy battled, competed, studied, and was prepared even after being thrown into the game because of an injury. The coach also identified the next step, understanding that defenders react faster in the NFL, and that an interior lineman needs better angles to reach linebackers at the second level. That is an honest evaluation. The debut had ups and downs, but it did not reveal a player frozen by the stage. Greg Van Roten now changes the competition and could become the top reserve at more than one position. Rizy gets to compete with a veteran who has made more than 100 career starts, measure his technique every day, and show whether the versatility he built at Harvard and Florida State truly belongs on the final roster. Foxborough, I want you in this conversation. Watch Rizy during the joint practices and in the next game, especially his communication before the snap and the path he takes to the second level. This battle should not be judged on one isolated play or the more recognizable last name. It needs to reveal who keeps the offense steadier when the plan breaks down. That is what these 4 updates exposed beneath the surface. The line took damage, the staff considered moving Lomu, the front office responded with Van Roten, and the pressure created opportunities for young players like Ponder and Rizy. A real problem did not disappear. It triggered a chain of decisions. New England now has to turn reaction into preparation, because protecting this team means making sure the next injury does not take the identity Vrabel is building along with it. I started this worried, and I am not going to pretend I feel completely calm now. But there is a difference between an injured roster waiting for the worst and a team that responds. Lomu was prepared to help. Van Roten brought experience. Ponder turned confidence into growth, and Rizy did not flinch through 55 snaps. That chain gives me hope again, as long as the competition stays honest. Patriots Nation, tell me what you think. What should New England do next to protect its depth before the season? Leave your move in the comments and subscribe to Patriots Club fans. In Foxborough, taking care of the details is also how you defend the future.